Life does a very good job of putting us into boxes. Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? Are you single or are you in a relationship? Football or rugby? I think the problem comes when you yourself start to identify too much with this box that people have put you in, and then that limits you from trying new things and having new experiences. Because then you start to think, oh, well, I'm this type of person, and generally these type of people don't do these things, so therefore I'm not going to do it. I think that's when it becomes a problem. We do this with all aspects of our lives, especially when it comes to things like age. I have lost track of the amount of people I've spoken to who say that I am very young in the workplace, therefore I feel like my opinion isn't valuable, therefore I'm not going to speak up in a meeting. Another classic example of this is with personality types. We all love taking those personality quizzes, and if you've ever done one of those personality tests, you come away and you think, oh wow, that thing knows me better than I know myself. But that doesn't mean that just because maybe you're extroverted or maybe you're introverted, it doesn't mean that that should stop you from trying new things that are perhaps outside of that box. This topic is quite close to home for me because for years and years and years, I have told myself, Jack, you are not creative. And I've always been extremely logical, analytical. I studied maths for 4 years. And yes, on the outside, I am pigeonholed into this techie data type person who's probably not very creative. And up until a year or so ago, it limited me from trying things like starting a YouTube channel. So you may be sat there now thinking, well, I have a few ideas about this. I have a few limiting beliefs that are keeping me inside this magical box that I keep drawing like this. I need a box. I need like a prop, which is a box. I'll have to go and dig out an Amazon box or something. The point of this is start thinking now about some of these limiting beliefs that you have that are stopping you from doing some of the things that you want. The first thing to realize, and it's quite a harsh realization, but the only person keeping you inside that box is yourself. Now, I know that's quite hard to hear because you're thinking, well, how do I get out of the way of me and why am I keeping myself in this position? Recently, someone introduced me to this idea of testing your beliefs in an imaginary courtroom in your head. Now, stay with me on this. The next time you think, I can't do this because I'm this type of person, put that belief on trial in your head. So imagine that you're in a courtroom and the belief is on trial and there's obviously the defense, the prosecution, the judge. Force yourself to try and think of evidence for why that belief you have is true. Up until March 2020, I had told myself for many years, I am not a runner. I had told myself that for a very long time. I just told myself that I wasn't the type of person who was good at running. And when I put this belief on trial in my head, I couldn't come up with anything that was supporting this belief. So that kind of gave me permission to just go for a run. I would just ask you to think of the evidence for that belief in your head, and I think you will find that it's probably not true. There's probably not much evidence you can gather. Over time, we come up with these beliefs in our head and they just become fact to us anyway, but they're not actually true. They're just things that we tell ourselves. So the next time you are in this situation, think of being in that courtroom and I promise you that will help